Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Marder back after a long break. Certainly I think this is the longest I've gone without making a video on the VC since I've started. No particular reason other than just time really. July's a busy month, kids are off school, been away with work, which is actually why I'm doing this video now, and then I've been on a family holiday as well, which was great. So I'm not only behind on making my own videos, I'm well behind on watching a lot of your videos too, certainly from the last 2 or 3 weeks. So if you start seeing comments pop up on some of your old videos, that's me catching up. But hopefully I'll get around. But there's a lot of great videos out there, so if I don't get around to commenting on them, I am watching them, and I am catching up, and I am enjoying seeing what you guys are picking up, and a lot of competitions going on as well. Fortunately, I don't think I'll be getting involved in too many of those, certainly within the month of July. We'll see how things go better in August, but I really wanted to make a video tonight. About 5 or 6 weeks ago I posted a video saying I was going to be in the Boston area for with work. Suggested a meetup, and Helmut Diggy, Bill, Rob from Boston, and John Bitbot Boom all got in touch, and we arranged a meetup. And this was I think it was on June 25th, so nearly a month ago now. So this video is well overdue. Thank you to those guys for taking the time out of their Sunday to come down and meet me. I know Rob had a family event on in the afternoon, but he still took a couple of hours out of his schedule and came and did some digging with us, which was fantastic. So great to meet those three guys. Got a bit of a picture coming up here. It'll also probably be the thumbnail for this video. And that was taken in the first record shop we actually went to, which was Planet Records, which was it was a great shop, really nice light shop, a lot of records, fantastic selection. But from my point of view, there was very little metal there. Certainly nothing that interested me, and I only kind of wanted to buy things. I didn't want to go there and just buy something for the sake of it, of being there. I wanted to try and just pick a few choice pieces where possible. So the guys did some. I think the guys bought some records there, but I held out for the second shop which we went to, which was John's recommendation, which was Armageddon shop, and that was pretty much exclusively sort of punk, metal, hardcore records, CDs and tapes. So that's where we went second off and did some digging. There'll be a little bit of footage towards the end. It's not great footage by any means. I really forgot to take some in Planet Records, and the guy in the shop, when I asked permission to film, he was just saying film your friends, but don't film me or the counter or anything. So it just kind of shows you some of the VC's finest in action, but I'll check that on at the end. So I was staying in Providence with work, and I had a free day on the Sunday. Bill, Helmut Diggy, was absolutely superb. He drove over and he picked me up from my hotel and drove me up to Boston, and it was really great getting to meet him outside of the VC and the videos, and we had a really good chat on the way up there. And we met up with John Bitbot Boom and Rob Paniques outside Planet Records. That was great. And after the initial introductions and saying hello, each of them actually got me some VCLT, which was fantastic. I mean, I wasn't as well prepared as they were, so first up, let me show you some of the records. So the first few records I'll show are some VCLT I got from the guys, and then I'll show you some of the records that I picked up from Armageddon. So first up, this was from Rob. This is not a band I'd heard of, and it took me a while to actually read the name of the band, but it's a band called Full of Hell, and this is Trumpeting Ecstasy. Now, looking at the logo, logo, I thought straight away that this is probably some sort of death black metal. Now this is something that's not normally in my would normally be the sort of thing that I would listen to, but as with all the records that I get before I show them, I try to listen to them a couple of times. This one I've only actually listened to the once so far, and the reason is it kind of smacked me between the eyes when I heard it. It's, as I say, it's not my kind of metal, and the vocals are quite guttural and raw. So the music at times is quite extreme as well, but other times it's really quite good. So I'm going to give it a second listen. I'm not going to make up my mind yet, but it certainly took me out of my comfort zone, and not something that I would have bought myself, which is just the beauty of VCLT. Really, is that people can. People can pass you on records that you just wouldn't normally pick up and maybe take you out your comfort zone, and this one certainly takes me out of my comfort zone. So thanks again, Rob. I am definitely going to give it another listen, and now I know what it is. I'll wait until I'm in that kind of mood, and it'll not be such a surprise when I actually listen to it again. So I'll give that another go. But this is say Full of Hell, Trumpeting Ecstasy. So thanks for that. Next up, so John, if you don't know John, I mean, John's got a great channel, and he's an absolutely encyclopedia of metal, certainly 80s metal, which is my favourite era, as you all know. And when we were digging, I could almost pick up any record, and John would either have it or have an opinion of it, and if he didn't have it, he would probably a good reason why. It was probably, you would say it was rubbish, or it was second rate, or what have you. So it was great digging with him and chatting with him. And he passed me on, he gave me a couple of records actually. First one is this band, Glory Bells, and this is Century Rendezvous. And this is from 1984, and it's a Swedish metal band. For us, it's 84, so it's very much straight up heavy metal, hard rock. They're a 6 pieces, 3 guitars, vocalist, bass, and drums. So SOS Recordings, Sound of Scandinavia, and I love this cover. It's just like the creepy guy just standing, looking down, and there's a kind of warrior dude with a spear. Quick glance over his shoulder as a silver spaceship shoots past in the background. Yeah, Glory Bells. There's the label, and it was plain. But yeah, it's mostly really, really good. But for some inexplicable reason, the last 2 tracks on either side, there's a ton of saxophone that's been chucked in, which is really quite bizarre. It's not so bad on In the Attic, because it comes in at a time when the music it's fairly generic heavy metal, and you it kind of blends into the background. And it probably wasn't until after about 30 seconds of there being saxophone on In the Attic that I suddenly thought, hold on a second, there's saxophone on a heavy metal record, that can't be right. But the last track on side 1, My Life, which is lyrics and music by Glory North, who's the lead singer, that is to me is probably one of the worst songs on a metal album I've ever heard. I don't know if it's supposed to be autobiographical, but it's terrible song. If it's on YouTube, have a look at it. But yeah, some Swedish heavy metal. Thanks for that, John. It was really good of you. The other one he passed on to me, and this one's got an interesting story about it. So John showed this one in one of his recent videos, and he got this as VCLT from the Metal Theology. I think he got a couple of copies for it, and with the instructions to pass one on to a good home. John couldn't find a good home, so he passed it on to me. And this is Beer and Jesus Records. There's the story behind this. I'm not going to go into it too much because it's the metal theologian story to tell. But apparently, Aaron used to live in Germany. This is 1988, so this is just before the Berlin Wall came down, and Aaron used to work, sort of had an undercover job of smuggling heavy metal demo tapes into East Berlin, to the wall, and chuck tapes over the wall for people to collect the other side and distribute. And apparently he got caught one time and things went south, and he had to move quickly to the US, and all he had with him were the clothes on his back and the last cassette that he was due to deliver, and it was this Madhouse First Damage. So when he got to the States, in order to make a living for himself, he had to sell that tape and make a vinyl release of it to just to get by. But I'm not, as I say, it's Aaron's story. I'm sure he tells it a lot better than I can. But this is great. Very very much homemade looks. This is from, as I say, original demo cassette. It's an okay heavy metal band from Germany. I quite like it. I mean, it sounds very very demo. But it's on a purple vinyl. I'm not gonna not purple vinyl, like a grey marble vinyl. It's got some interesting inners in it as well. I'm not going to take it out because this is gonna. In fact, I am going to take it out, but I'm going to cut it so you don't hear me rip open this sleeve, which I hate on the videos. Right, so this is the marble, sort of grey, mottled marble vinyl. And it's got some interesting inserts as well. So we have like band information, Xeroxed. Xerox, I sound American, don't I? Photocopied, as we'd say here. And nice computer printout type. The birds are going home. Computer printout lyric sheet. So I think this is a nice item to have, and I'm really glad it found its way to me. And I love the connection that it has with VC as well. So thank you, John. And last but not least, my chauffeur for the day, Bill Helmut Diggy. He gave me a copy of this album, which is Sonic Plague. What's the Purpose? Without a question mark. And this is kind of straight up thrash metal. So this apparently is a band that Bill knew from back in the day. One of these guys is wearing his shoes, apparently. So great bit of trivia. Now Bill said to me that he thought this was a great band and better than a lot of bands that were actually going around that made it. Or had a big deals at the time. This is on Anthrax Records. This is 1988. And I kind of took that as a pinch of salt. I appreciate Bill's opinion, but I love his videos. But I thought he knows the guys. He's going to say they're great. But when I did hear it, I mean, this is really really good, and I completely agree. I've got other bigger named bands on bigger labels from around the '88 that don't sound half as good as this. So the couple of the tracks actually they seem to be influenced by Ramones and punk. So there's a certain sort of punky hardcore element to it as well. But if you do get a chance to listen to these and pick it up, I really recommend it. So thank you to those three for that. I certainly wasn't expecting anything. It was great just having the opportunity to meet up and go digging with you. But really appreciate the fact that you thought of me and passed on those, which was great. So even before I got digging, I had 3 or 4 records in my bag. But then we did go digging. We went to Armageddon, and that was, I could have spent a fortune in there. But obviously I had to think about how I was going to get these records back across the Atlantic on the way home, and I did have a budget as well, but I could have spent a lot longer in there, and I could have spent a lot more money. But I picked up about 4 albums, and I'll show you what they are now. So I was mostly looking for 80s metal, and I found some good stuff. So this first one is a band called Intrinsic, and this album is called, I think it's a self-titled album, or is it? Yes, it is. So that's the No Wimp must be the label. So this is a thrash band. This is 1987 on No Wimp Records. And this was one I picked up, and I mean, this cover is truly terrible. Awful drawing. Not sure what's going on there, but there's all sorts of dead bodies, skeletons, and some swans having a bit of a dip in the pool. I showed this to, I picked this up, and John took one look at it, and he just kind of dismissed it, told me it's a kind of second-rate US thrash, and it's not great, but I like it. And I like the fact that I was able to go to the US and actually pick up some US thrash, even if it is second-rate thrash. It's a promo. Not too much to say on it. It will get an occasional spin, certainly over the next few weeks or months. With the trip, there we go, Intrinsic. But yeah, pretty good. Don't know too much about the band, so if you know something about the band, then drop me a note. A band I know a little bit more about is Hades. This is If At First You Don't Succeed. Again, another truly awful cover. This is from, 1988 on Torrid Records. The only other music that I've got from Hades is on the Stars on Thrash compilation, which a few people have shown before. I've shown myself. That was kind of my my introduction back in the day to kind of non-mainstream thrash, and Hades was one of the bands that's on there with a song called Opinionate, which is the first track on the album. And again, this is a pretty good album. I think this one had some marketing information in. No, it didn't. It must be one of the others I picked up recently. So it comes with an inner obligatory black and white picture of the band, thank yous, and lyrics, and yeah, quite cool label, Torrid Records with a dragon on it. This is more sort of this is better than Intrinsic, certainly, but probably not as good as Sonic Plague. Some great pictures here, all looking moody, all just come out the salon. There we go. And it's more, I guess it's more sort of, I don't know if technical thrash is the right word for it, but some of the songs are a bit stop-start. There are tracks that are just over a minute long, and there's a track that's over 9 minutes long, but all in all, it's pretty good. This is the kind of thing I was hoping to find when I went out digging in the US. So pretty pleased to pick that one up. The next one up, I'd say John pretty much forced me to buy this one. He found it in the racks and he picked it out. It was still sealed, and he said, "Do you have this one?" And I said, "No." And he went, "There you go." Pretty much gave it to me. So it was $10.99. It was the most expensive 80s record that I bought on the day. So it was still sealed. It's since been opened, and this is the band Banshee. This is called Cry in the Night. It took me a while to actually realise that there was words at the bottom of this blood stains there, letters there that cry out the night. It's a 5-track EP, I guess you call it. The lyrics are printed on the back. It's on Metal Blade. And John was very keen that he sold it to me. He said, "Listen to I think it was the last track." Cry in the Night, and it says very, very Iron Maiden sounding. So this is what, 88, and yeah, it's great. It's almost like kind of new wave of traditional heavy metal before, you know, while it was still in the 80s. Excellent stuff. I'm really glad that you talked me into it. Not that you had to twist my arm too much, but yeah, very, very happy to have picked us at this, because I've never seen it before. I'm not even quite sure where they're from. I guess they're a US band. Yeah, but we'll see. And the last one I picked up was actually an Irish band. More thrash again, but more of a modern thrash band. So this is Gamma Bomb, Citizen Brain. This is from 2008. And if you don't know Gamma Bomb, they are a great band. Look, there's about 15 tracks on here. They're all roughly around the 2-minute 20 mark. This is on Earache. They've got about 3 or 4 albums out. They really should be bigger than they are, I feel. I mean, when I see a lot of the old style thrash bands coming out now, the new old style thrash bands, if that makes sense, I don't think they compare anywhere near as good as Gamma Bomb. They're a bit goofy. I'm going to talk about photo. They're a bit goofy. Some of the songs are very light-hearted, but it's killer thrash. So this one's on red vinyl, translucent red vinyl, and no inner or lip. Oh, there's what I hadn't spotted that before. So it's kind of a nice sort of collage lyric sheet. We always do nice releases. If you've not heard this one and you're into more modern thrash metal, or even old thrash metal, old school thrash metal, then check out Citizen Brain by Gamma Bomb. Right, well, that's a lot longer than I thought it would be. Great to be back making a video, and I won't leave it so long next time. Let me know what you think about this haul, and go and check out the channels of Rob, Bill, and John, and I'll leave a link below. Thanks for watching. Check out the links below also for my Instagram and Cloudy Marder Facebook page if you want to see more of this nonsense, see what I pick up when I pick up, or you just want to talk about music. And yeah, I'll see you again soon. Bye now.